You are looking live at a daily chart of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is the strongest index. I know it's only 30 stocks, but this is the one that's making the new highs. And it's been trading above its 21, which is this pink or magenta line here, for more than a month now. So its rally is in a power trend, and it's really strong. I know everyone's expecting a pullback, and so that's probably why we're not going to get one. Anyway, these 30 stocks are the more well-capitalized stocks. And I believe there's some window dressing going on here at the end of the last week or two of the year. And that is, buying the winning stocks of this year. And things are likely to change once the calendar turns in January. So we're just going to have to take it one day at a time. But this is definitely the strongest index, as this is the one making the new highs. The Nasdaq, it's in a power trend as well. It's been above its 21 here for about a month also. And it did this in the summertime, all the way, from May through July here, almost 2 months. And then, finally pulled back with the three legs down. If I take a look at the weekly chart here, to me, this is still, it's been up 7 weeks in a row. This is the eighth week, but yeah, it certainly looks like it's stretched. It needs a pullback. It's 8% ahead of its above its 50 simple moving average. During this rally, it got up to like 9% above. There's 10% above before pulling back, and then again up here it got up to 8.2% before pulling back, and had a meaningful pullback from July 19th to October 26th. But anyway, I mean, just take it one day at a time. It's showing a lot of strength. Everybody's making money and really happy about the rally. So let's not, we'll worry about the pullback when it gets here. And you always want to have some dry powder in case it does pull back, and gives us some opportunities. If this is a real true new uptrend bull market, so to speak, there's going to be plenty of stocks that are going to break out and show strength going forward. So, let's embrace pullbacks and buy bounces. Anyway, the S&P 500, I've got to get to this one. This is not making new highs either. Got to go to the weekly. It's 48.18 is what where it needs to get to. 47.49 was the high today. So it's making higher highs or 52-week highs, but they're not making, same with the Nasdaq, just not making all-time highs like the Dow Jones. But still, showing strength and doing well. The Russell 2000 had an inside day today, kind of a flat session. This thing trades. This is the one that really has a lot of work to do and has a lot of growth potential, I believe. It has not moved like the other indexes, and you can see this test and retest of the lows here, and now it's rallied strongly off the most recent low and up against this resistance there at 2003, 2007. So we'll see if it can blast through that area. In 2024, I'm not expecting much in the next couple of weeks, but I think maybe next year the Russell will have a good year. And it's been a strong correlation to the 10-year, which is now below 4 and trading, consistently the last couple of sessions below the 4, 3.95. So there's a correlation there. Anyway, I don't trade indexes, but it's just something to note. It's nice to have the tailwinds of the indexes. It makes things much easier. Apple sold off today down to its 10, net less than 1%. Some news with China, more restrictions. Anyway, Apple looks fine. Microsoft, I'm going to go through the Mag 7 because you kind of have to. They're the big movers. They're the ones that move the market. This thing looks, 3 weeks tight here. It's just trading kind of tight. Microsoft, there's your weekly closes. And you can see here on the daily, just, kind of trading right along that old 366 buy point there. Standard buy point. So Microsoft looks fine. To me, there was a lot of window dressing, I believe, today. This is Meta. I think it traded a new high today, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know in Meta, otherwise I would know that. But it had this broke above a downtrend line here. and trades higher. I guess the 342.92 could be considered a new buy point. 347, yeah, so it definitely made a new high today. Meta Platforms, yeah, I don't own it, but congrats to those who do. Amazon, this one on the weekly had a 3 weeks tight as well. You can see the tight areas now. It's starting to push away from its base. I posted a chart on Twitter, and some guys were razzing me about it, like it's already made its move. Well, maybe not. To me, it's just getting started out of this base here. So another one that I don't own, but definitely institutions are buying it. You can tell by the the big blue bars, and the buyers are coming in for that one. Google, another one that I don't own. Fair transparency, I don't own any of these, but these are the stocks that fund managers are going to need to have on their books, to show that they're holding their winners, because these are the big winners for this year. And this one's got this cup with handle pattern, the 139 buy area, but yeah, Google looks good as well. All these stocks look good to me. That's why I think that the index could definitely trade higher. This is Tesla traded tight as well. You could see the moving averages were converging there, and then it popped higher last week. Today is kind of flat on this session, but you could see the double bottom pattern. So these things can definitely break higher and move the indexes higher. So yeah, I mean, the markets are overbought, but they could become more overbought for sure. NVIDIA, another one that I had posted, that I think it looks good, and it broke above its downtrend line as well. Looks a lot like Meta, and now I don't think I made a new high today, no, but it came darn close. And we'll see how it handles this 500 level. NVIDIA's been here before a couple times. 502 back in summertime, August, I guess it was, and it had earnings, sold off. Made it back up to 505 here last month, and now it looks like it's making another run at that 500, 505 level. So NVIDIA looks good to me as well. These mega cap stocks, there's your double bottom with a little handle there, a pullback to its moving average. That looks pretty good to me, NVIDIA. Anyway, like I said, I don't own those, but I'm going to go to the drug stocks today. There's a lot of news with the drug stocks, starting with Lantheus, which had a phase 3 trial, which failed. And this is why people don't like to trade medical stocks and biotech stocks, because they just get crushed. It was a failed phase 3 trial, prostate cancer, and down 27%. That'll definitely damage your portfolio if it's got too much size in there. Checkpoint Therapeutics, this is an ADR, and they had a failed they were diabetes weight loss drug, and it failed, and it was down 44%. And this is in the Eli Lilly, Novo Nordisk. There's a lot of companies trying to come out and compete and try to get into that market, because it's a massive market, but there's been a few failures lately. And the one that looks the best out of these is a Viking, this company from San Diego, which I keep highlighting here. And they have I'm not going to say the best compounds, but I think they're going to have an NDA here in the first half of 2024, and it's definitely one to watch. Let me just put it that way. Definitely a speculative stock. No earnings, no sales, none of that stuff. But if they get approved and then they get into the market, they'll probably bought before they can launch the thing. This is pill form for the weight loss diabetes area, and I did mention NVO and Lilly and NVO. This thing's an ADR also. It just gaps. It's real gappy. Gaps in the morning, down, stays down, gaps up, and stays up because it trades overseas. But you can see how choppy it's been in here, but just trading sideways. Did it close above its 50 today? I took it off the leader list because it's been a week below the 50, but yeah, closed just slightly below it. Eli Lilly, this one was up $7 today, but still trading below the 50. They're looking for approval for a drug that I can't pronounce. But anyway, if they get approval, I'm sure this type of sideways action or this tight flat base action will be resolved, I would think. Anyway, that's enough of the drugs. I'm going to go to the cybersecurity. Palo Alto Networks was downgraded this morning, and I thought it was going to pull back, but it really just stayed flat. You know, for most of the session there, you could see it really did nothing today. Yeah, just flat. It was inside on Friday and just kind of flat today. So flat is good. Zscaler, I wasn't watching Zscaler much today, even though I own the stock, but it was up slightly. I think it made a new high, 224, yeah. And CrowdStrike as well. This was upgraded by a couple of firms, and it was flat on the session. CrowdStrike's had a big move, so yeah, flat is good there, around 250. That would be fine with me. Oh, ANET is another one. Had on our watch list, but it kind of broke out here and moved a little too much, so I took it off. But I still like this one. Just had a no, wasn't inside today, but yeah, just traded flat. Flat is good, especially with the market the way it is. I have to point out the dry bulk shippers because they are making a move with the bulk rates being up like 35% in the last month. And this is nothing I would even touch. I just got to point this out because, you know, if the rates start, you know, creeping up higher, that is definitely inflationary. And I'm not really sure the reason. There's different size of vessels and different rates, but these stocks have been moving. This is Star Bulk, and then EGLE is Eagle Bulk Shipping, and it was flat in the session. But you can see they've made these big moves here recently, so watch out for the shippers. Software, Adobe, they were going to acquire Figma for 20 billion, and they turned the deal down, and Wall Street celebrated, traded up to over 600 today. It was down last week, pulled back to its 50 on earnings, and then they said that they're going to spend a lot of money with the FTC and all their shenanigans. But anyway, nice move today for Adobe. That stock is just, you know, the big winner. And they're not going to buy Figma. They said no. Monday, a strong day on Monday for sure. Kind of a breakout. I'm still going to leave this on my ready list. I want to see how it handles the 200 level. If it can just blast through here with some power, we'll see. Or if it gets rejected and decides to go sideways. But to me, that stock still looks good. And if you own it, you know, it's a good looking stock. Was like a $400 stock when before the bear market. Duolingo. Another one that, you know, is making new highs, respecting its moving average, gapped up after earnings. That's why we pay attention to these gaps, but you can go back and see the brutal sell-off, long consolidation, double bottom base here in the summer, and now moved out, and it's trading at new highs. So congrats to the longs there. Frog is another one on our ready list, and I just noticed that it made a new high today. Yeah, you can see why it's on the ready list here. Coming out of this base, looks pretty good. Frog, computer software enterprise. I have no clue what they do. The semiconductor space dominated by NVDA, but Broadcom is just a monster. This thing's going up every day, up 1.5% today. Not bad. AMD took the day off. It's still sleeping over the weekend. Just had a quiet inside day. Is that a double inside day? It sure is. Yeah, so it's just kind of lurking around the 140 level. I like AMD for a little longer term here into 2024. And what was the other one? Oh, SMCI. Yeah, SMCI. I bought this one today. I was waiting for this stock to prove itself. You know, I like stocks that can prove themselves, but it had been making lower highs here. You could see the 357, the 317.50, the 306.52, and it finally broke above that downtrend line. So I finally got in. Some people were saying, "Oh, you're slow to the trigger," and that's fine. I just want to let it prove itself. You know, as it pinched in there, you know, oh well, it had a good day. It was up 22 bucks, 7%. So I bought it. What the heck? We'll see how it does. I hate the way it trades. Somebody said it's really hard to handle. It certainly is. Just don't look at it. Just a couple of stocks here randomly. I'm going to go through. This is Arista Networks, a networking stock making new highs. CCJ is a mining stock making new highs. That thing's trading sideways. Yeah, it had a 3 weeks tight in there, 4 weeks tight. Wow. So that one looks pretty good, actually. Kamiko at that 46 level. Oh, Pens is another one. Since they reported earnings, they've been on a heater as well. You can see that trend. What was the other one? Oh, NTNX, another software name. Yeah, trading at new highs and just trending. That's a trend trader's dream right there. Just respecting the moving averages. Anyway, okay, I had a conversation with a buddy today who talks about retailers. He loves retail, and some of his best trades have been in retail, and obviously Costco making new highs, up 3.5% after reporting earnings last week. Just a monster. Lululemon as well. I mean, anybody who's held this for any length of time is, it's rewarded its shareholders. And I'm going to see how it handles that 500 level. That's a beauty. URBN Urban Outfitters made a new high today above that 37.81, I believe. Did it not? Or am I lying? 38.13. So that is a new high. You can see that big cup with handle, shakeout, breakout. Yeah, Urban looks okay. ELF, some people didn't know. ELF stands for eyes, lips, and face. That's why the dots, right? The period, eyes, lips, face, dot, dot, dot. And anyway, this thing's been a monster. A lot of people were giving me a hard time about this, but it hadn't made a base in over a year, so it makes this big ripper move for like over a year. This is what a six bagger or something, and it pulls back and forms a base, and people give me a hard time. It's below its 200. This stock sucks. I'm just going, okay, whatever. I mean, this is what stocks do. I mean, this is a monster stock. This is a monster stock. You can see IPO base here. This is the 2020 shakeout here. And there's your kind of cup with handle as it sold off like 3 or 4 months there and just ripped. There's your base, your last base. There's your rip. And now here's your most recent base. Traded a new high today. And if it pulls back in here, a couple people were telling me, oh, I missed out enough. No, you didn't. It could definitely do this. Pull back to like the 140, 138 area and allow these moving averages to catch up and then make its big move as it reports earnings in a month or so. So don't give up on ELF, just because it's at 147, it can pull back $10 easily. So keep an eye on ELF, but it definitely looks good. Definitely formed this base here, which I had been waiting for a long time. I get nervous when stocks do that because they're just trading without basing. Yeah, they're making these 3 weeks tight, flat base patterns, shelf-like patterns, but we really need a big base. The bigger the base, the higher in space. So ELF to me looks fantastic. I'm going to go through a couple of these gapper stocks. I've been talking about Elastic. I've been wanting to get into this one, so I bought it today as it pulled back to its 8 EMA. It didn't pull back quite to the 10, but sometimes I pull the trigger early and sometimes I'm late, but that's the way it goes in trading. I'm hoping it it doesn't pull back, but if it does 5%, I'll take the loss. No big deal. But it bounced today, so I bought the bounce, and we'll see what happens. I just wanted to own this stock because I blew it back here when it gapped higher, and then it did it again. So it's like, geez, Marty, just hold on to the damn thing. And sometimes I have trouble doing that, but that's my dilemma. IoT is another one that gapped higher after earnings, kind of formed a little shelf there. It's a little herky-jerky, you can see, but it's finding support at the 10. Had an inside day today, and the stock looks fine. The thing about it is you can see these bars here. It closes near the middle of the session a lot. Okay, so it trades up and then it sells off, trades up, sells off, trades up, then sells off. It does that a lot. Did that today here, trades up to 35.06 and sold off. So that's, you want it to close near the high. You want those hammer candles, at least I do. Shows institutions supporting. GTLB is GitLab. Another one broke out here, gapped higher on December 5th, and now it's just trending with its moving averages. I believe that's the 5 that it keeps backing up to, but trading higher. So it made this big move, 67.55 on the 14th, which is Thursday. So we'll see if it can get above that level. That was quite the spike. GitLab was another one. What was the cybersecurity stock? Sentinel-1 is another one that I want to get into, but it's just not going to give me a chance. I'm going to have to wait until it pulls back to maybe the 8, hopefully the 10, and find support. But the cybersecurity stocks are strong, and they're not going to just easily let you in. Path, one that I bought early on, as it pulled back to the 10 and bounced, but it's not really doing much. It's hanging around the 25 level. Once again, today it pulled back and closed flat. Okay, so it pulled back to 24.52 and then finished up, a little more than $1 from the lows. So UiPath looks good. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thanks for watching. As we head towards the holidays, I believe that you're going to see a little thinner trading, and that usually means more volatility because stocks can be pushed around when there's not as many buyers, so the low volume. So we're gonna have to watch for that. But I lied. I do have one more thing in honor of the great Steve Jobs. I had Carvana on our buy list last week around 42 as it formed this little shelf area after the gap higher. And then I took it off this week, but I really should leave it on because its original buy area is that 52, 53 area, 53.91, and so I'm going to put this back on the ready list. And I believe if I look at the weekly here, you can see that, this cut pattern here, and then I made a bigger base. So maybe that bigger base will lead to a bigger move higher. So I like that one. And also Upstart was on our ready list last week and I took it off, but I still like this one, heavy short interest. And you can see this big cut pattern. I believe that's 72 area. Yeah, so I don't see why it can't get back to the 72 area. We'll see. Definitely a gap here at 46.30. It's just right there. So definitely two stocks of interest with heavy short sellers involved, which can hold the stock back, or it could be fuel for bigger gains. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up.